Hello and welcome to Hidden Tracks. My name's Shane Murphy, your host. I'm not going to announce episode numbers anymore because we've passed that point of having to announce episodes. Today, I am very lucky to have a special guest with me. His name is Austin McCool. He is from the band Future Thieves. They are a great band out of Nashville. Quick story about how I found them. My wife and I were in Nashville. We like to travel around, go see live music all over the place. And we were looking for something to do the one night. It was a Sunday night and we couldn't really find something to do. And we saw this band Future Thieves was playing over at 3rd and Lindsley. So we said, hey, that's what we're going to do. That's where we're going. We bought tickets. We went. We're blown away by what they did, how they performed. It was an amazing show. And ever since then, I've been following their career. I got to see them a couple times in New York City as well, which is close to my home. And I have spoke to Nick at one of the shows. And now I have the pleasure of speaking with Austin, who's here with me today. So Austin, thank you so much for joining me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Shane. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. I can't thank you enough for doing this. So quick background on your band. I mean, I saw you guys back in 2015, I believe it was, at 3rd and Lindsley, and you guys have kind of grown your sound and everything. How's that maturation in your music and songwriting been going?
Oh man, it's been a wild ride, honestly. I mean, if you saw us in 2015, that was kind of right at the beginning. That would have been the first time we played 3rd and Lindsley. We played there several times since. We love that place. But yeah, it's been wild. The records all sound different from each other, I think, and some of that,
I agree.
all of the records sound different to me, which was either completely on purpose or some of us just growing up and listening to different stuff. But yeah, it's definitely matured for us for sure.
And so you mentioned growing up. It's a big thing I like to touch on too when it comes to stuff. I remember when music changed for me, when it stopped being cartoon theme songs and Sesame Street and Barney songs.
Yeah.
And when I first heard something different, do you remember what that something different was for you that got you into figuring out what music was and that there was this huge thing out there?
I would say I do. I had a cousin that was always playing guitar, and he was a little bit older than me. And I remember him showing me Dave Matthews, like way back when, and he was playing it on his guitar, and I was kind of just like, oh, this isn't just what you see on TV or what you hear on the radio. This is something people actually do. It's like a human act. And I was like, wow, I think I could, potentially see myself learning how to do this. And, I know it's Dave Matthews and everybody's listened to Dave Matthews forever, but that really opened the doors to finding what kind of music I actually liked for myself and not just stuff I was being fed on the radio. And I would say that was probably mid to late grade school. And, I was lucky enough going into high school to really dive into what I wanted to listen to and what really interested me. So I would say, yeah, I remember my cousin really showing me some stuff that kind of blew me away a little bit.
And did that lead directly to you wanting to be a guitarist? Was it watching him and seeing the magic that happens when someone plucks some strings?
In a way, I mean, I guess I had just never looked at it like that it was something a person could sit down and, work out some interesting way of putting notes together. Like, you take music class in grade school, and it's pretty much just you and your friends seeing if you can make a keyboard sound like a fart.
Yeah.
But, I was really interested in doing that. And then around the same time, my brother, that's a little younger than me, got a guitar for Christmas or something, and he took a couple lessons and got the basic books. But seeing my cousin doing that and then having a guitar at home, I just kind of stole my brother's stuff and started teaching myself. And by, I would say, my freshman year of high school, I could actually decently play guitar, completely self-taught just from what my brother had lying around at home.
Did you use any like music or bands as a reference to learning music?
That kind of spawned quite a Dave Matthews phase for me. I wouldn't say a phase. I still listen to him occasionally, but I mean, he's so good, but some of the stuff he was playing wasn't that hard. So I would learn a lot of that. Jack Johnson was super simple to learn, and he was getting super popular at that time. So I would do that, but I also had my I would say emo punk phase in high school where I would listen to bands like Brand New and Taking Back Sunday and some of those other bands. Brand New is still one of my favorite bands ever, but yeah, it really opened up just kind of all the rock and kind of pop rock stuff to me. And, if you learn a power chord, you could play almost all of that. So
Yeah,
it really just spiraled into finding little niches of rock that I was really interested in.
well, that's what I think so awesome about music, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's so encompassing, and there's so much out there, and it branches off into so many different ways you can go. I always say it's just like watching a tree grow.
Yeah.
You just have different branches, and at the end of that branch is a leaf, and that's another band that is hopefully ready to hopefully stay there and grow back year after year when they put out new albums, or sometimes they fall off and they get chopped up into mulch, and it's tough for me to watch that happen to bands, and that's why I want to do what I'm doing and help people get their name out there. And you guys are, I mean, for me, watching you guys grow it's been amazing, because you can see how your tastes have changed in music and writing and all that. And how, when you're sitting down with Elliot and Nick, and you guys are trying to come up with a new tune, I mean, what's your process in trying to figure out that new song that you want to put out?
That's a good question. I mean, over the years, they've kind of come all different ways, really. Like Horizon Line, we never expected that song to do what it has, but that song came along because we were practicing all the other songs. We were getting ready to record the first album, and we were just running through what songs we had. And Elliot kind of started playing this cool, vintagey sounding, like kind of Kings of Leon riff type thing, just that main riff of that song. And then, Gianni, who was our drummer at the time, started playing this super, super cool, more upbeat drum part than what the guitar sounded like. And I kind of just threw that surfy other guitar on top, and it just worked. And we wrote that song in probably, honestly, probably 25 minutes, and it was just done. And that's been our most popular song. And then, there's for the second album, we had our producer Alex Jarvis, who mixed the first album. He ended up writing with us for the next few things. And he had just come up with the keyboard part to Darkspin and sent that to me and Elliot just in a voice memo. And Elliot just started writing to it. And once we started coming together to actually jam on it, it was pretty much done. It was, the ideas come from all over. It's never been just where we book time in a studio and everybody bring your best riff. We're just going to play all of it and see what sticks. It's happened that way a couple times, but it's really has just come from wherever the spark can come from is where we go to.
So. Yeah, and I think that's so indicative of music, and there's so many stories of that, and it blows my mind that you can sit down and work so hard on so many songs, and then the song that you just all of a sudden, wow, okay, that works, let's lay it down, is the one that grabs people. And,
yeah.
But what's good about that too, though, is that was it's your most popular out of a lot of things, but to a lot of people, it might not be the most popular to them.
Yeah.
So when you do that, what's your favorite song that you've recorded so far that you just, without a doubt, just say that's our best song?
That's a really good question, because I think so much of the music is so different. Like there's Nightmares, I thought was just so unbelievably cool when we wrote it. I loved everyone's part. I felt on that song was just perfect.
Everyone has a solo, but it's all played together on that
kind of
song, which is awesome.
Yeah. I would say off the new EP, I Don't Think I'm Okay was really, really fun. And I loved everyone's parts, and it all fit together in a really strange way. I would say My Body too. I really love that one. That was just, it kind of came together exactly how we wanted it to. That's a tough question, but yeah, definitely some highlights for sure would be I Don't Think I'm Okay, My Body, Nightmares. There's a lot on that second record too. I thought were great, but yeah, it depends on the day, I guess, and depends on the show and how they come across live. Just changes the life of the song for me as well.
Yeah, and I think a big thing too is playing music loud completely changes, I think, a lot of the songs. I think it changes the tone of the song. I mean, for instance, your second album, self-titled album, when I first listened to it, and I think this is where some things kind of come across differently nowadays, since a lot of things are digitally, which I think is good, that because we can get music out there so fast, but I also think it leaves room for a lot of people who shouldn't be playing music, put it out there too.
I'd agree with that.
But I mean, digitally, your album came out, you guys sent me the link, I downloaded it immediately. I was waiting for my CD and my vinyl, and I couldn't wait to get it. And when I got it and I put the vinyl on and I blasted it in my studio in the basement, I was like, this sounds like a completely different album than what I downloaded.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys account for that? Do you see that, or do you have any effects of when you put your stuff out digitally to people like that?
Yeah, I think it's more of a personal thing. I mean, I'm like you. If I'm going to listen to something, I'm going to have either my headphones up all the way, or I'm going to be blaring it in my living room, or something like that. But yeah, that record was interesting because, coming off the first one that was so raucous and kind of pretty not stripped bare, but pretty raw. I think that one came across a lot differently to people, which I think it should have, because we spent a whole lot of time on it, and we really experimented with a lot of stuff, and totally understood that a lot of people just didn't understand, how that second album came after the first, but it was all just experimentation and fun. And yeah, when you play it really loud, it's so filled out. I feel like it needs to be played loud.
Yeah, because I saw you. So the second time I got to see you guys was in New York City, and you were just starting to push out some of the new songs you had recorded. And I was sitting there, I was like, wow, this is so different. You went from Rosie into Sucker, and I was just like, whoa, what's happening here? And then you went into, because you also had Jarvis was on stage with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, they're trying something and they're not afraid of it.
Right.
Were you hesitant about maybe losing any of the people that you had connected with on that first album, or are you just doing it to, hey man, we're musicians, we love to make music, and if we love it, someone else is going to love it, and we're going to do it? Or were you worried at all about that? Because it was kind of a big change from Horizon Line, like you said. As I used to describe it to people, and I'd hand your copy of your album to somebody and say, "Hey, listen, check it out. It's if you like My Morning Jacket or
Yeah.
any of those guys, this is what it sounds like." And then your self-titled came out, and I'd say to people, I'm like, "Listen, if you like Bon Iver or Psychedelic Furs, or this is for you."
Yeah.
And it was I mean, for me, that was a huge leap. How did you guys feel about that? Were you hesitant at all, or you just said, no, this is what sounds good to us right now, and if we're maturing, going to a different sound, this is what we're going to do?
I'd say, I mean, just for myself, there was some apprehension for sure, because I know how much someone like my dad loved the first album, whereas I think somebody like my mom would like the second album more. But I wasn't afraid of losing any fans or anything. For us, it was still just it was also new. You know, we didn't even know what Future Thieves was. That first album was recorded in my basement, and it was essentially recorded so that we could pitch it to people and be able to tour. It was never meant to be. I mean, it was meant to be our first album, but it was never meant to be so thought about. There was not a strict deadline, but there was, tours are being booked for fall. Let's get something in people's hands. And that was the very beginning of the band. And, just spending more time with each other and spending time on tour, listening to different music, and everybody personally listen to their own stuff. Really just, when we came to deciding to record even Sucker, we were like, let's try something a little more, maybe a little more polished, a little more off the wall. We don't need to make another Hesitate,
Yeah.
It wasn't a full conscious decision to make something completely different, but it was kind of more so.
Organic,
Yeah,
more so.
yeah. And let's just see if we were to try something, like Same Things. If we were to try a song like that, what would that sound like? So we just tried it, and we ended up liking, a whole lot of that. And I would say I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared to do it. I was more just really excited to try something else,
Yeah, and what I think's awesome too is, so two of my favorite songs are two ballads you guys did. So Golden State is like the first thing off of Horizon Line, besides Nightmares and everything, where I was just like, wow, I can't believe they can go from Nightmares to Golden State. And now my new favorite song that you guys put out was Out the Other Side. I was like, it makes me feel completely different. It gives me a different mood. They're both along the same tone,
Yeah.
with that ballady type stuff, but it gives me a different type of mood setting, almost to the point where Golden State makes me feel a little sad in a sense.
Yeah.
And Out the Other Side makes me feel happy that I'm sad,
Yeah.
but I'm remembering all the things that had passed.
Yeah. It's very nostalgic for sure.
Yeah. And so do you have music that's not your own that you go to for that mood control type of music? A lot of people, some people, when they're sad, they put on sad music or they put on happy music. Do you have something that you go to? You're having a bad day and you need to pick me up, or you're having a good day? Or I've always said this, men shouldn't be afraid to cry. And sometimes I find myself where I just really need to cry. And I know I can go to a couple songs that are going to do that for me. Do you have anything like that for you in your life that you deal with?
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. And I won't say I have necessarily a song, but I know kind of, or an album or something, but I know who to go for and what kind of vibe I would go for. Like you said earlier, I love Bon Iver. I like the Japanese House a lot. Really good stuff. Yeah, I just kind of I kind of find bits from all over for that feeling. There's not necessarily something I always jump back to, and luckily with Spotify, you can find those songs in 5 seconds if you need to.
Yeah, that's listen. I have to give Spotify all their props. I mean, they were the first ones to immediately pick up the podcast, which was
Nice.
made me feel really good. And we just got on iTunes last week, which is another huge accomplishment.
Good for you.
So, thank you. I appreciate it. So you like Bon Iver? Do you have a favorite band? Do you have someone that's you've always gone to? I have so many, and it's hard for me to choose. We usually go through Desert Island playlists, but do you have like a favorite band that is your constant sticking point? That someone's going to ask you what your favorite band is, and you may hesitate, but you'll say it.
Yeah, Brand New is my favorite band of all time.
Okay, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, they
totally different than what you guys are doing too, which is why I love this.
Totally,
musicians don't have to play what they love.
Totally, but I will say, like the two guitar players in Brand New, like I learned so much from those guys, just learning those songs. Like I said, when I started playing guitar, I was listening to the punkier Brand New stuff, and I was learning so much just continuously going through their records. And then even the last album they put out, Science Fiction, just a few years ago.
It was fantastic. I was blown away by it. I couldn't believe how good it was.
And you're talking about like that feeling kind of thing. There's some songs on there where I listen to it and I'm like, wow, that's exactly what I wanted to feel right now. And I actually I work at a guitar shop here in Nashville, and Jesse Lacey actually came into the shop, and I was just beside myself, and got to talk to him and kind of play a little guitar with him back and forth, which was just I kind of still don't believe it. So
that's awesome. What guitar shop do you work at?
It's called Artisan Guitars in Nashville.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I before all this happened, my last trip somewhere was Nashville. I was literally there overnight for work, but as so goes in my life, I happened to be staying at the hotel directly across the street from the Coliseum and got to go see Tool for $35 just being in Nashville for the night, and then going to all the bars afterwards.
Yeah, that'll happen. You'll find something in town, that's for sure.
Yeah. So going from your favorite band, and I like to jump back and forth, but I have a sense you may have the same answer. And I like to bring up things that, like, just in case you forgot about this band, how good they were. Do you have anybody that sometimes you forget how good they actually were until you put them on again?
It's probably going to be an unpopular answer, but Incubus.
Don't be scared of your answers.
Yeah.
This is music, and people. It's so vast, and there's so much out there. You can't judge people off of what they like.
Incubus, it was a huge thing. Me playing guitar growing up, and specifically one record was just. It really made me a better guitar player because it was really hard for me. But I'll throw that album on every once in a while, and I'm like, wow, I was so lucky to hear something like this when I was maybe like 14 or 15, whenever it was. But yeah.
And they had a drastic change in their band.
Yeah.
I mean, from their first album to when they blew up, they had a drastic change. Oh, yeah. So that had to help you guys with your decision a little bit too in your head.
Yeah.
To know where they were.
Yeah. I mean, it's worked out for a ton of bands, but just even in the middle there, they got so weird. Like Curl Up to the Murder is the record I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like getting my first good electric guitar, and there's some ballsy electric guitar stuff on that album. And I remember learning it and just being better for it. And he's still listening to it. I probably listened to it 2 months ago. And it's like, damn, yeah, that's really good stuff still.
And that's the thing too, for anybody that's out there listening to this, to be like, oh yeah, Incubus, because no one's heard them in a while.
Right.
But to go back and you put something on that brings you back to something. That's where music to me is, and I talk about it constantly on this show, is music is the closest thing we have to a time machine. It really is. You can remember the day, the place, the time, who you're with, when you heard a song, and you hear that song and it brings you directly back there. Do you have something that you like to put on to bring you back to a certain point? I know there's a lot of things in people's lives. People have tragedy that a song connects to, or people have the happiest time that something connects to them, or something you remember. Do you have something that you love, that you remember, that you put on that always brings you back to a spot where you can just smile?
Yeah, I would say Kendrick Lamar's "Damn" came out right when we were heading to Europe for our Europe tour, or right around that time. And I'll always remember riding around in the van, like looking at Spain and listening to Kendrick Lamar just go off. And it was just really awesome. But I have a bunch of old records. I got a record collection from my dad's best friend, and there's just so much cool stuff on it. And like my dad has signed a bunch of the albums and stuff like that, because I guess they were his at some point. And just having all that just physically takes me back to them playing these records when I was a kid. And yeah, I would say nothing specific, but the physical aspect of having those albums is really, really cool. And then, that everything we listened to that year on that Europe trip, somebody will play it and it'll take you right back there.
Yeah, driving in the van, the windows down, and the song's beating, going to the next place. How much do you miss live music right now?
I miss it a lot, man. It's been really weird. Our last two shows were in February with Moon Taxi. But the last tour would have ended in December of last year. And it's just, it's been really good to take some time and recollect and kind of figure out, where everything's going. And I know we still have no idea. But I definitely miss touring for sure. And specifically playing in front of a good crowd is sorely missed for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I made a big deal up here when you guys had the live stream to raise money, and you guys were playing on the concourse at the stadium.
Yeah.
And I got a big TV, put it up outside, and I said, all right, guys, this is as close as we're going to get to live music, so let's just do it. And I invited a bunch of people over. And I was like, no, Future Thieves are coming out. This is what we're going to do. And I was like, it felt like a concert again, just because I had it plugged into big speakers. And I was like, all right, if this is as close as we can get right now, we're going to do it the best we can.
Good. Was that the Music Saves thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was an honor to be a part of. I know we only got to play a few songs, but just the list of people that participated in that was really, really cool.
Yeah, and it was awesome too, and something like that too, because there was so much different music that it opens my eyes to other things, just like how a playlist will open your eyes to many different other things if someone makes a playlist for you, and you can hear stuff you never heard before.
For sure.
Now, I consider you guys extremely underrated for what you're doing, and I'm trying to get you guys a little overrated as well. And I like to go through stuff and figure out, and I use Third Eye Blind a lot for when I talk about overrated, underrated bands. Okay. There's a lot of bands out, like, I think they're overrated for the songs that became popular, but I think they're extremely underrated for the songs that nobody listened to.
Okay. So
do you have anybody that you can put that with?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there with Third Eye Blind. That is a killer band that had good records, I thought. I mean, their self-titled album I thought was super cool. I
know it's a hard question. I stump a lot of people with it. I had a good answer last week. Somebody said Blind Melon, and I was like, wow. I was like, I even stepped back and I was like, that's an amazing answer, because to me, you're 100% right. I was like, that they were popular for something that was, to me, it was terrible.
Sure.
And all their stuff that nobody heard was some of the most amazing stuff I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. A band that's obviously just extremely popular now is the 1975.
Oh,
And
their first album blew me away
they're
when I first heard that, and
yeah.
they keep going.
But the first thing I heard was Chocolate, and I was like, okay, there's guitars in it. It's kind of cool. It's catchy. But then you listen to those albums inconsistently. Like every album, I think personally, at least, that has come out has been really, really good. And there's some just off the wall stuff that probably nobody knows about. I mean, obviously they've got a huge fan base, but the people that hear their most popular songs would never know that they would do some of this other stuff that is really artsy, and a lot of it is really, really cool.
Well, I think that's the hardest thing that you as a musician, and I think me as such a huge music lover, is it's good, but also extremely detrimental that you can get one song now.
Yeah.
I mean, my big thing always was putting on an album as soon as I bought it, at a store, bought a CD or whatever, putting it on and listening to it the whole way home and listening to everything and finding my favorite song that wasn't the song of why I bought it.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And, like our second album, we made it so that the songs transition into each other and there's like a consistent vibe. And if you can just pluck one little piece out of that, it kind of doesn't work. So, I totally agree. And I've always been a fan of bands that kind of interweave the noises in between songs and stuff like that.
It makes you not want to skip a song to get to the next song.
Right. And I think that's so important. I think that's the whole reason they ordered it the way they did. And, and I understand it really can't be that way anymore, but that's the reason that Horizon Line has millions of plays and whatever the next song is doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I mean, this lends itself to the next question. And I'm a big fan, and I started this whole thing from conversations with my friends and I around fires, and always talking about music and talking about perfect albums. And you said the whole, to skip to the next song. Now, do you have, and you can have more than one, because I have a lot of unskippable albums that you put it on, hit play for song one, and not turn it off until it's over. And I always have to preface this, and this may not be your era, but I always pull Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction off the table. No one's allowed to use that at all.
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I know there's so many. For me, going back to Brand New, A Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me is incredible to me. And they do a lot of the song weaving and stuff like that. And I love that album. That's a really good question. I'd have to think about it more.
Yeah. No, hey, listen, you gave me one. I needed one. And I appreciate that, which will lend to my next question, which is previously on a podcast, I answered the question. So everyone I talk to has to answer the question, and there's no cop-outs.
Okay.
What's your guilty pleasure song or band or music that sometimes you're afraid to admit to people that you absolutely love it?
Huh. Well, I've always said my favorite song of all time is Tracy Chapman's Fast Car, which
now you're going to hit, you're tugging at my heartstrings here.
Yeah.
Long story short, it was my sister's favorite song. My sister, unfortunately, is no longer here. So every time that song comes on randomly somewhere, I'm like, she's saying hello. That song's amazing.
Oh, that's great, man. Well, yeah. And it's not even that I'm embarrassed by it. It's just, I'll play it at a very inopportune time. Like we'll be at a party at someone's house or something, and there'll be a stereo on with somebody's phone plugged in, and they're all going nuts to some crazy song, and I'll just need to bring everybody down and throw that on just because, that to me, that's my favorite song of all time.
It's It's amazing. If you ever want to keep the party going, just play nice and smooth with the Tracy Chapman guitar
Exactly.
behind it.
Even the
I mean,
people you
that's
don't want there will just leave. So
yeah.
yeah, it works out.
Listen, I like to do that too. I kind of start putting on when it's gotten too late in the night and I have stragglers. I just put on music that I know no one's gonna like except for me, and they kind of just start to say, "Oh, you know what? It's getting late. Think I'm gonna go."
Yeah, it's a good exit strategy to have.
So, good guilty pleasure. Now you guys have played a lot of places. I mean, you guys toured all around the world. You played South by Southwest, Bonnaroo. Is there somewhere that you were supposed to play recently that you couldn't play, that you're upset, or you're just, we have to make sure we play there
Uh,
when this all ends?
well, we didn't really. The only thing that really got canceled for us was South by, that was already booked. We were in the process of starting to book a summer tour. So there was nothing really on the map yet. This South by would have been really cool to play. We were really pumped for it. We were going to have, bigger shows than we did 2 years ago. And that's always just a really good time. But there were talks of returning back to Europe, and that really sucks that we didn't get to, establish real plans for it. Because that is 100% something we just really want to do.
Yeah. Now, Emotional Cost came out last year. Are you guys working on anything now, or is it just, are you shooting ideas through, Zoom meetings, or even meeting up with each other and trying to come up with new stuff? Or are you just in that holding pattern, or are you even constantly yourself sitting there and constantly trying to come up with new stuff?
So a little bit of some of that. We haven't really been getting together very much. We've all just kind of, taken a step back, after all this. And I actually got sick with COVID.
Oh my! I'm glad you're better.
Yeah, yeah, I got through it. This was just like last month, but yeah, just kind of. I've got a little station here where I work on my computer, and got a MIDI controller. I got all my guitars here and pedals and stuff like that. And I've been doing a whole lot of that and sending ideas to Elliot and Nick and our buddy Guthrie Brown, who toured with us a lot, and just kind of been tossing ideas around for sure. This whole thing kind of, it not only interrupted the touring, it kind of interrupted just the momentum in general. So,
Yeah.
When there is no tour to look forward to, it's tough to really solidify what ideas you want to work on, because you just don't know. We could get together in a room next month and think of 100 different things that, we haven't worked on at all. There's just no deadline. So there's no, which is nice because I can just throw an idea down on my computer and, let it sit for however long. But there's just not been a real urgency to finish anything right now. Because, hopefully it does open up and we can get back in the routine of, laying stuff down and getting ready for new stuff to come out as we tour, and, just getting back on that schedule. But for right now, it's more so just tossing ideas around, and some are a lot more developed than others. But yeah, just kind of at the moment stockpiling some stuff.
Yeah. Do you think you guys worked better on a deadline?
Probably, yeah. Or at least a general deadline. Like Emotional Costs, we were recording in last summer, and we knew we wanted it to come out obviously before the holidays, because we're not going to sell non-Christmas music in December. So, or, later in December. So we kind of just had a general, wanted to have it out before the holidays type thing.
So yeah, like you said, with Horizon Line, you wanted to go on tour and you needed to have something out. So
Right,
you're just
yeah.
doing stuff.
Our potential booking agent was looking to start booking for the fall of 15. So we were recording that spring and summer to have that come out in October, right when we kind of needed it to solidify some November and December dates of that year. So I would say like a good general deadline is always good, but you know, our second album didn't have a deadline, and we actually sat on that for a long time, finished, and I wouldn't say that was very good for us, but it's what happened.
Yeah, well, because I mean, you did Horizon Line, and then you had your live album, Blue Rock.
Yeah.
Before that, so and it was such anticipation, me waiting for where's I know there's a new one somewhere.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah. That was a tough thing because let's see, we recorded that in 2017, I believe. That album. It came out in 2018, but we had it finished the summer of 17, like almost completely mixed and finished, and we sat on it for over a year.
And that was that a full conscious decision by everyone in the band?
No, that was a management decision at the time, and that was, kind of a last ditch effort with management then, and trying to find the right outlets for the album because it was so different, and it just didn't end up panning out. So we just said, screw it, and we put it out on our own in that October of 18, just by ourselves.
So you had someone just telling you maybe this isn't the right thing to do, even though you were already done recording and had everything polished and completed.
It was, it was a lot of trying to shop it around in an old school way.
Going to radio stations or DJs and saying, listen to this. What are your thoughts? Do you think we could get airplay with it? That old school?
Yeah, and old school thinking that, we needed to have you've got to have this big momentum going up to a release. And, this is when Drake is dropping albums every month. And, being the younger kids that we were, we realized like, we're going to make more music. Let's just put it out and we can make something else. Let's just be done with it. Get it out. Like, let people hear it, because it was so long between the first and second that, we lost a lot of steam with touring and with whatever numbers you want to associate with, continued success or whatever. But we definitely just waited too long to put that out. And we ended up going it on our own and just let it out as soon as we could.
Well, I'm glad it did come out.
Yeah.
I'm glad nobody told you not to put it out, because that could also seen a lot of that where people record a lot of things that, there's things that come out later in life, which, gets released as a B-side or the hidden music, kind of like the hidden tracks, as this podcast is called, that all of a sudden you're like, why was this never released? And it's usually because somebody else is telling the band that, maybe we should do something else.
Yeah.
Instead of following your instincts. So I'm glad that you did.
Yeah. And in this day and age, literally nobody knows what could happen with a single song. And it's like, well, just record something and put it out.
The world's going to tell you.
Yeah.
The world's going to tell you.
Exactly.
So don't let, your manager, a lot of the times tell you what's going to make it.
Exactly.
So we're coming in on some time. I don't want to keep you very long here. One of the last things that I like to do with everyone is it's my weekly threes. I like for you to tell me, give me 3 people, bands, artists, anything that you're currently listening to, 3 of them that we can get out there. I can add to a playlist, and I can, put it out there for other people to hear. It can be old, it can be new, it can be things people never heard before, but 3 things you're listening to right now that that you're enjoying?
Okay. Delta Spirit just had a new album come out on Friday, September 11th, and it is really, really good. And they recorded that album in the same room we recorded our second album in Tornillo, Texas.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that already got me excited. I've loved that band for a long time, and they took a long, long hiatus and finally released something new, and it is really, really good. I'm just kind of scrolling through my Spotify here.
That's what a lot of people have to do with this question.
Yeah, there's a band called Motel Radio that had an album come out. Let's see, this was last year, but I just recently found them. The album is called Siesta del Sol.
Nice.
And they're a really good band. I like them a whole lot. And let's see, I've got a lot of like ambient music for what I sleep to, but I don't think you want to promote that to anyone.
Hey, Explosions in the Sky I list as ambient, and they're amazing.
That's true. So. This is more like rainfalls and thunderstorms.
I listen to that stuff too while I sleep. So
yeah, I'd say. Do you know who Owen is?
Yes, I do know who Owen is.
Mike Kinsella.
Yep.
Yeah, I've liked that guy for a long time, and his new album that came out, I think it was this year. Yeah, it was pretty recently.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that just always puts out stuff.
Yeah.
No matter what he's doing, he's always putting out stuff.
Yeah.
I saw him by himself with his guitar, not under the moniker of Owen, but just his full name, open for Rain Maria a couple of years ago. And I was just like, okay, so you're just going to play wherever, whenever. I'm like, I love this.
Yeah. He seems like a really cool guy. I've been following him since his second album when I was in college. And yeah, I like the new one a whole lot. And it's produced by the keyboard player and drummer / multi whatever from Bon Iver. So yeah, it's really good.
Well, that's awesome. I want everybody to know that you can find Hidden Tracks on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. You can find us at myhiddentracks.com. Website's up and running. Twitter at myhiddentracks1. You can send us an email at myhiddentracks99@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at hiddentracks99. I'd like to say thank you so much to Austin McCool from Future Thieves. You can find their music, Horizon Line, Future Thieves self-titled, and Emotional Cost out now, their EP. I want to thank you so much for your time, Austin. This has been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything else you'd like to say to anybody before I let you go and don't take any more of your time?
Oh, I just want to say thanks, Shane, for having me, man. And best of luck with the pod. I'm really excited to check out some other episodes, and just want to say hi to everybody, and we hope to see you soon.
I can't wait for you guys to get back out there and to be able to see you guys perform live again. So again, thank you so much. I appreciate everything, and I appreciate you taking this time today. And everyone, have a great time.